This right here on my wrist is the Apple Watch Series 8. I've been testing it out for about a week, and while I do think it's the best smartwatch you can buy, I've had to come to terms with the fact that just not that much is really new compared to last year's Series 7. Incremental upgrades are pretty much the norm for the Apple Watch at this point, and some could argue that's a little bit boring, and that's fair, but I think you can only make so many changes to a device that's so reliable and so good year after year. I really had to look at this watch not just in context to last year's, but also how it compares to the past few versions of the Apple Watch, since the Apple Watch isn't something that people upgrade every year, like an iPhone. That said, there is an exclusive new feature in the Series 8 that might make a difference to users on a daily basis, and that is the skin temperature sensor, which can inform trends in cycle or fertility tracking as well as sleep tracking. Otherwise, a lot about what I like about this watch is actually last year's design change and the new low power mode, which is part of watchOS 9, this year's software update overhaul that's also available to older Apple Watch devices. I also enjoyed testing out the revamped Compass app, which is not only for the rugged Apple Watch Ultra, the new outdoor smartwatch announced alongside the Series 8. And I know there's a lot of hype around the Ultra, so I hope to share more soon. But for now, let's take a closer look at the Apple Watch Series 8. The Apple Watch Series 8 starts at $399 for the GPS model and $499 for the model with cellular support. The aluminum version comes in 4 colors: Midnight, Product Red, Silver, and Starlight like I have here. Now my Apple Watch 7 was also a 45mm Starlight configuration like this one, so I had to be careful not to mix them up. They look very similar. I thought the design change last year was pretty groundbreaking. It's something like a 20% larger screen from the Series 6 in 2020. So anyone with the Series 6 or earlier will appreciate how much more usable the screen is on the Series 8. Again, not anything design-wise to see or point out with the Series 8 over the Series 7, but if you're thinking about upgrading from a Series 5 or 4, there's a lot to like about the thin display bezels and how the display kind of spills over the side. Now, if I were to open this watch up, that's where I'd be able to show you some of the changes to the internal design. The standout of those is the skin temperature sensor. The new skin temperature sensor reads your wrist temperature overnight in an attempt to inform 2 key areas: ovulation cycles and sleep. If I were trying to conceive, using my wrist temperature and other period tracking information, the Apple Watch Series 8 is able to predict my ovulation windows, and there is research that validates wrist temperature data as an indicator of probable ovulation. Alternatively, if you have some type of condition that impacts your cycle, overnight wrist temperature data might provide more validation. I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS, and keeping a quote-unquote normal ovulation cycle is something that requires certain lifestyle habits on my part. If my wrist temperature data is off in a given month, it could mean I need to take better care of my symptoms. This is something I think I'll need to use over several months to appreciate if or whether it even helps me understand my health better. But more immediately, my skin temperature data could be seen as part of sleep tracking data, and this really just can give you some insight if and how external factors are impacting your quality of rest each night. If your Apple Watch sees that your temperature is higher from your baseline, it might mean you're not getting as good rest for reasons you might be able to identify in your life, like traveling or partying late. But that's not all that's new on the inside of the Apple Watch Series 8. I'll have to go for a drive to tell you more. The Apple Watch has had great emergency features for years, like fall detection and emergency SOS calling, but the Apple Watch Series 8 has a new emergency feature, and that is car crash detection. Car crash detection is made possible by new motion sensors inside the Series 8, as well as improved gyroscopes and accelerometers. And what that does is sample motion up to 4 times faster than before. And in the matter of a car crash, those seconds can be life or death. In the case this Apple Watch here were to detect I was in a car crash, it would immediately call emergency services, sending them my location, and it would also notify my emergency contacts of choice that I've set up in Medical ID. The Apple Watch Series 8 features a redesigned compass app, and there are a few features that I'm going to enable. I'm about to go on a hike somewhere I've not been before, so I want to use the new compass features to make sure I'll be able to get back safely to my location. I'm going to start track back on the Apple Watch Series 8, and what that's going to do is from this point where I'm standing, it's going to keep a tracing of my steps. That way, if I ever want to come back to this point, the watch will lead me there. Oh wow, the light coming through the trees right now is so beautiful. I'm actually gonna set another waypoint on the Apple Watch Series 8. That way I keep this spot marked if I wanna come back and take some photos. This is actually the perfect opportunity to use one of my favorite Apple Watch features. It's not new for the Apple Watch Series 8, but it is something that I use literally all the time for taking photos, and that is camera remote. I actually did a full video on that, but I'm gonna do it right now. Another feature I was so excited to hear is coming to Apple Watch and that I'm testing out now in the Apple Watch Series 8 is low power mode. I'm a little worried about my battery life while I'm out here on a hike, and I want to make sure that I have enough juice to get back to my car. So I'm going to enable low power mode. What this is going to do is during my workout, it is going to ping GPS less frequently and check for my heart rate less frequently. And that doesn't really matter because I'm out here on a hike. It's not like I'm running or cycling, so there won't be too many variations. And that means that my Apple Watch should last overall. And if you're looking at the full scope of the Apple Watch Series 8 battery life, while it is rated for 18 hours, nothing new there, with low power mode, it should last up to 36 hours. And on that note, it's starting to get a bit dark, so I'm gonna hit track back so I can retrace my steps back to my car. Hiking is far from the only workout I got to do with the Apple Watch Series 8. The Apple Watch is my normal go-to fitness tracker, but I really wanted to work out with it to try out the new workout interface in watchOS 9. The Apple Watch can now track heart rate zones throughout a workout. I'm personally a big fan of heart rate-based training to promote effective recovery, so I liked seeing that for cardio and HIIT workouts, I could have my heart rate zones right there on the screen, and I felt that everything was responsive and as accurate as any fitness tracker. I also love the new interface that shows you your ring progress while you're working out. Before, I would literally leave the workout app to go check my rings on my Apple Watch face. It was really annoying, and this is just so much better. Speaking of my Apple Watch face and watchOS 9, there are 4 new watch faces in watchOS 9 I've been using on my Apple Watch Series 8. Metropolitan, Lunar, Astronomy, and Playtime, an artist collaboration with 2D, 3D illustrator Joy Fulton. I actually interviewed Joy and some Apple execs about the details behind all the new watch faces, which you can go read on Tom's Guide if you want to know more. Also new in watchOS 9 that I've personally made a part of my Apple Watch experience is the new medications app. The Apple Watch notifies me at the same time every day to log my meds, and I can manage all of this on the Health app on my iPhone as well. All those features I just went over are actually also available on the new Apple Watch SE. Starting at $249, I think a lot of people are gonna wonder if the SE is a better value for them over the Apple Watch Series 8. The things it doesn't have is the newer design, always on display, ECG reader, SpO2 reader, and skin temperature sensor. But it does have the same S8 chipset, crash detection, and even low power mode. I think I would have a hard time going back to a display this size, but if you're a first-time user setting it up for a family member with family setup, or maybe even upgrading from the Apple Watch Series 3, this makes a lot of sense. That's where I'd recommend you, if you fall in those characteristics, to look. On the other end of the Apple Watch lineup is, of course, the Apple Watch Ultra. For $799, you get a 49mm watch with a flat display and titanium chassis, an extra action button, double the waterproof reading, depth and diving features, a special collection of straps, and a siren app. The siren is something that kind of stuck with me all week. I couldn't help but think it's a miss to not have the siren feature on the regular Apple Watch Series 8. It doesn't have the speaker system perhaps needed for it, but I don't think I need to be in the wilderness to be in a position where I might need a loud alarm for personal safety. Personal safety for all people, but especially women, needs to be a priority. That said, if you are an outdoor sports enthusiast, the Apple Watch Ultra seems to have a lot to offer, plus a 36-hour battery life. All right, Apple Watch Series 8. We talked about the skin temperature sensor, crash detection, the new compass app, low power mode in watchOS 9, and even a bit how this compares to the other two watches available in the 2022 lineup. I know this is going to be my go-to smartwatch for the year. However, I would not say it's at all logical to upgrade from the Series 7. I think the Series 8 is the sweet spot for upgrades for those currently rocking the Apple Watch Series 4 or Series 5, or just someone who wants the full-featured Apple Watch experience or even needs that experience for people who have health conditions the Apple Watch Series 8 can help monitor, like AFib. Do I wish a bit more was different? I mean, I guess, but for what most people need out of a smartwatch, I think there's little more this could do right now. Pushing the Apple Watch further every year, even if it's just with a few features at a time, still is, in my opinion, the example to follow in wearable technology. I chronicle all of my wearable adventures on social, so be sure to follow me at Kate Kozich. And if you're connected with Tom's Guide on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Tom's Guide, you'll get the first look at all the new devices our team is testing out. That's also where you can let us know what you think of the new Apple Watch Series 8. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.